How you doing?
Hey, this is great. This is our first podcast. The Billy and Boyd podcast, I guess is what we're calling it.
Yeah, sure, go with that.
I don't know if that name
Two
has
awkward
any...
boys talking,
Yeah, I don't know if that name has any staying power. We considered other names, but I really like that one. I think it kind
That
of
one
rolls off the tongue.
fits nicely, and just Billy and Boyd. It's
Yeah.
like, who's talking? That was
Also,
Billy
the
and
main audience, it also helps kind of helps us be recognized by the main audience for this first episode, which is probably just
Yeah.
going to be people we know
Boyd. Yeah.
already because it's just our first episode. Yeah,
But in case they don't know who we are, who are you?
I'm Billy.
Oh, well, I'm Boyd.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too,
Yeah,
man.
dude.
This is great.
First time ever meeting him right
Yeah,
now.
first time. I was just on the street
Never
walking
seen
by
him before,
eating a hot dog, and he was like, "Yo,
Yeah.
you want to come into my humble abode and record a podcast?" And I was like, "Okay, sure."
Exactly how it went, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, not surprising.
Yeah, I'm Boyd, as I said. I do stuff, you know.
Yeah, we just I don't know why we're doing this. We just kind of had an idea. It was just kind of a fluke thing. We were talking in AP Calculus class the other day, and I was like, we should do a podcast. And I didn't really think that Boyd would take it as seriously as he did, but I just thought, because he was like, yeah, sure. And I thought it was just kind of just like a joke, yeah. And then Boyd, I come over here to like do it, and he has all this stuff set up, and I'm just like, whoa, this is cool. But yeah, we have two separate mics, by the way, because we don't have like a big fancy podcast mic, so we're talking out of two basically just headsets, I guess.
I think you made it seem like I have like this whole setup. I literally just got my laptop out.
Yeah, we're just sitting on a couch in his room and recording this, and I mean it's not much. It's better than what I could do with any of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've had like some experience with like audio and stuff because I work for a radio station.
Yeah,
And they use Audacity, which is what I'm using to record mine.
yeah.
So like I know what that is from that, and like I've tried to use it before.
I used to work at the sound room at my church, and that lasted for about 6 months, and I got bored of it, and so I just stopped because it was like the same thing every week, and I worked the camera. And what would happen was I would just be up there, and they'd be like, all right, man, if the speaker, or I guess the preacher, whoever's speaking at this moment, moves in any way, you need to have the camera just move it around to
Dude,
capture.
you should have gotten really creative with
camera.
that. You should have been like doing like these insane like zooms in, like build tension and suspense.
I did that to an extent, and then one of the guys up there caught me doing it. He was like, you got to stop that. And then half the time I would just get bored because he would just stand up there for like 30 minutes straight, and then he would move 10 feet to the right or 10 feet to the left just randomly, and then I would just kind of get in trouble for not moving the camera too. He'd be like, yo, Billy, move the camera around. What are you doing up here?
Dude,
And
they should be giving you some creative liberty.
yeah, I didn't really get much of that up there. It was just kind of basic. We do the same thing every Sunday. Just record him, record the speaker, make sure you capture the choir if they're speaking, and then, yeah, that's about it. So,
I've actually done camera work too.
You have?
Yeah, my brother is a filmographer. I guess is what you call him. Is that the right word for somebody who does like
oh my God,
films?
cinematographer?
Not really, because like he just makes commercials for the. Like,
That's still cinematographer. I
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, because the only reason I know that is because I'm in Boy Scouts, and I was in Boy Scouts rather, and there was a merit badge called cinematography that I tried to earn, but then I realized I didn't have the equipment to do it, and then one of the guys that I knew at my troop was like, "Yo, we can come to my house one day and do it," and we never ended up doing that, so I never got the merit badge, but that's how I know the term.
Yeah. Like I like photography and stuff like that. I have a nice little DSLR. But
Yeah.
my brother, he's like he makes like commercials for like a local hospital and stuff. And so we filmed this like golf tournament. That's the only experience I've ever had like with an expensive nice camera filming something,
Yeah.
which is actually really cool to do that. And I didn't do too well. I kind of left the camera overexposed the entire time, only to realize afterwards what I did. But like it was a fun experience. So I have a little experience zooming in on stuff. What other jobs you had?
That's about it. I don't have any like major jobs. I kind of helped my neighbor over the summer, I guess, cleaning up sticks and stuff in his yard, and I got paid a little bit for that. But other than that, really not much. I'm just kind of lazy. So
I do that stuff for free for my mom.
you do?
I don't get paid for that.
Yeah, I do it for my mom too. Yeah.
I've only ever like the radio job I have is just like once every few weeks. I'll go like, I'm technically a producer. Like that's the coolest thing to be like, hey dog, I'm a producer for a radio station. I'm not. Like somebody calls me. He's like, you're the producer. I just like, like the sound boy basically. I
Yeah.
run the soundboard and do that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, I feel you. So now I think we should get into the actual topics because we've just kind of been rambling on for like the past couple minutes, which isn't really a bad thing. but I think this needs to be a little bit more structured. So we have a list of topics here to talk about, and I guess the first thing that we should address is just about ourselves in general, because this is the first episode, and we have some other segments later that might be a refrain for this podcast in later episodes, like continuing segments. But for now, we're just gonna kind of, we already introduced ourselves. We're gonna kind of explain how we met. So Boyd, you can just kind of take it away with that.
So like, I don't know if the listeners know what FBLA is. I prefer to call it FUPLA. And it's Future Business Leaders of America. I don't intend to be a future business leader of America. I don't know about you.
I don't either. We both want to be engineers.
It looked nice on my college applications.
Yeah,
So
it's also fun. You get to, for nationals every year, you get to go to a different location, different city in America. So last year we went to Baltimore. We met each other there. The year before it was in California in Los Angeles, and I got to go. But Boyd's school did not have an FBLA chapter, so he was not along for that ride.
No.
Yeah, but yeah.
Also, we go to different schools.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we go to different schools, but I also go to Boyd's school because I take a class there.
I also go to Billy's school because I take a class there, but not with him, sadly.
Yeah, it's just kind of a funny situation the way that we ended up going to each other's schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, to take classes.
They're not far from each other. They're pretty close. So it's not
15, 20 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 15, 20 minute drive. So it's not too bad. I don't
No.
really mind it. And my car is good on gas. It gets 35 miles a gallon on average.
Mine doesn't. I'm putting like 20 in a week. It's not good, dude.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But yeah, so we met at FBLA last year. Did we meet at like the district level?
No,
It was probably
because
state.
well, yeah, because it wasn't state. It was a nationals because I didn't quite know. I was
Yeah.
just kind of hanging around with some of my friends, and we didn't meet each other till nationals. We were just kind of like roaming around the convention.
Yeah, because
For-
you were just like standing there and you're like, oh, hey, I know you. And I was like, cool. And then all of a sudden we're just like going around
Yeah, like
probably places we shouldn't have been.
We
in
knew,
this, like,
yeah.
conference
Well, we
place.
knew that we went to each other's schools because our schools, because we're from the same school district, flew together to Baltimore, and we were kind of in. We didn't share rooms, but we had rooms next to each other in the hotel that we were staying at in Baltimore. So we were just hanging around each other a lot, and I hadn't really talked to him personally until then. And I don't know, we just sort of bonded over that, and we just kind of like walked around the convention center and tried to look in every nook and cranny that we could because we were bored. And
Yeah, I think we went to like main presentation place way before we should have. Like probably got kicked out. They had seen us.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't have done that, but we
That
did.
was fun. What did you do at because we do
I feel like-
competitions?
Yeah, we do
there.
competitions there, and my strategy is usually just to be in a group and pick an event that nobody else is going to do. And so last year my event was management and decision making, and I did it with one of my friends, Dawson, and we got first at state because we didn't do great on the test that we had to take, but we also had to do a presentation, and both of us are very good at speaking off the cuff just about stuff we came up with 5 minutes later, because like they gave us 15 minutes to plan for the presentation, just write notes down and stuff. We spent 5 of those planning and the other 10 minutes just talking about random stuff that we wanted to do. So yeah, we didn't really spend much time on it. We just kind of went in there and winged it, but that's usually how we do most of our stuff, so it worked out. And this year I'm doing banking and financial systems, which also includes a presentation and a test, so it's the same format of event.
Well, last year I not it was similar by accident because I chose something like I actually like doing, which is coding and programming. I was like, oh, that's cool. I can do that. I can probably ace that. I've been coding since I was like 12. And I went up there, and it was mostly they judged you on your presentation, not what you make.
Yeah.
But my presentation, I didn't practice for it. I think a single time. Like I wrote some things down on the note card, like on the drive to the place to do the competition.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got lucky because there's only me and some other guy. He beat me. I came in second, but he didn't go to state. So I got first at state because no one else did it.
Yeah.
Which is the strat, by the way.
Yeah.
Just choose something you like that no one else does.
Yeah, I was kind of a fool my sophomore year. I picked a thing called business calculations, which was just a test, and at state, there were 15 people doing it. Somehow I got second and was able to make it to the national competition in Los Angeles that year. I think I got kind of lucky because I guessed on a lot of them, and I just went through and did the math that I knew how to do, like percents, like markup stuff, easy stuff like that, and depreciation, but some stuff I couldn't do, and I just guessed on that, and I think I got rather lucky with some of it, but I made it to nationals, so yeah, that was all I really wanted.
I got made a bad choice this year. I did graphic design, which every kid and their mom likes to do.
Yeah.
So I walked in there like this time, and I was like, oh, this won't be too bad.
I feel like the reason a lot of kids like to do that, though, is because unlike my event, which is a presentation you have to make off the cuff, or unlike test you have to study for, you don't necessarily have to study for that, but you have to prepare. You basically have to do all your work before you go to the competition and do a presentation, but it's not an off the cuff presentation because you can like practice beforehand, obviously. And so I think a lot of people are drawn to that because I know some of my friends did that last year and they enjoyed it.
Yeah, and also there's like graphic design classes at school.
Yeah.
Like the teachers would probably like push them to do it. Like, yo, you should do this. Like, but like the kids there, they didn't even like try. They're just like coloring stuff over in
Yeah.
Photoshop. They're
That's
like, yeah, we
another-
did this. We just colored over this.
That's another thing
thing
in
in
our
Photoshop.
schools. We'll be talking like just I don't know, it's just people there at the competition with us that we're competing against, and they'll be like, oh, so when did you take this class at your school? We'll be like, what? Because our high schools offer several business classes outside of just integrated business apps. Like I think entrepreneurship at mine and maybe personal finance, which isn't necessarily a business class, but there's a test for it, so I guess that does count. I don't know about
We
yours.
had web design at my school.
Yeah, I
That's
think-
all we had.
Yeah, we had web design for like a year, but then the teacher who was teaching the class retired, so
Yeah, I
we don't
took
have it
that
anymore.
class and I just basically spent most of it playing games because it was so easy.
Yeah, that's I feel like what most of the business classes at our school have done. Which, fun fact, I've never actually taken a business class at my school because to be an FBLA, you're required to have at least one business class, and IBA or integrated business apps counts. And because it's a requirement for graduation in most American high schools now, I took it online the summer before my freshman year because I was like, well, I don't know how well I'm going to do in the online class, but there's like a rule apparently where if you take a high school class before your freshman year of high school, then you can retake it if you wish. And I was like, well, if I make a bad grade, then I'll retake it. But I mean, it was a fairly simple class, just Word, PowerPoint presentations, and Excel spreadsheets and stuff like that. And so I made an A, so I didn't have to retake it. So it was pretty easy.
I would point out it's the lowest grade on his transcript. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
95.
95, yeah. That
The
was
man is a tryhard.
I was kind of upset actually when I got that for multiple reasons, but I talked to my mom about it, and she was just like, well, I mean, it's still an A, so we can see if we think it'll affect much in the future. And I think at this point, if I were to retake it, it just wouldn't be worth my time. So I just kind of stuck with a 95. Yeah.
Not the lowest grade on my transcript.
Yeah.
I will point that out.
Yeah, Boyd has like what do you have, like a 97, 98 in calculus, but you had a 93 in algebra 1.
Yeah, and an 87 in algebra 2.
Yeah, and algebra 2, yeah.
Those are good days, man.
Yeah, it just goes to show Boyd's level of effort throughout the years in high school.
It ramped up like 11th grade year. I was like all A's now. I wasn't
Boyd-
even mean to. I was
Most
just
people
like,
get senioritis. Boyd's got like the reverse senioritis.
oh, I have
Boyd-
senioritis.
You do?
Yeah, I don't go to Spanish all the time.
That's true. But like in terms of your effort. When it
Oh
comes
yeah,
to
my
classes,
grades. but-
Yeah, your effort has just increased, I think, a little bit. But yeah.
Well, the good thing about not going to Spanish is there's not a lot of homework in Spanish.
Yeah.
So I don't get senioritis there. Just get it not going, and I make up all the tests, and I'm good.
Yeah. Homework in calculus though, it's a little bit different because
Speaking of, do we have homework?
no, our homework was to study for our test.
Okay.
But yeah. But homework in calculus, even though it is graded in our class, it's only 10% of the grade, which isn't a lot. But even if it's not graded, I mean, we just kind of figured out like a couple weeks in, you have to do the homework to stay caught up because it's a good practice source.
Up
Yeah, we're done.
till like middle school, I never did homework.
Yeah.
I might have done homework like once.
Well, a lot of it I feel like is pointless to a lot of kids because like you'll be in like a math class doing something easy like area or perimeter,
Yeah.
and you'll just get homework problems, and you'll have some like really smart kids in the back who just be like, this is dumb, this is stupid. I know how to do this. Why do I have to do it at home? I just want to go home and play video games. Which
Exactly.
which is
exactly what I
understandable.
did.
I guess the only argument for that, mainly that a lot of people use and why it's still kind of put in place in education systems today, is that it prepares and conditions students for workloads when they get older. But I mean, if the work isn't really difficult and super, super time consuming and you can just kind of write stuff down haphazardly, then what's the point?
Yeah, like I think homework's made for more of the people who like want to get a good grade but don't particularly understand the subject matter.
Yeah, I agree with that. Especially like, well, what really grinds my gears is when you'll have people or students in a class like, I don't know, like chemistry or an advanced math class or even an English class, and the homework will just be like, you just do it, and the homework isn't even graded based on correction or I mean, it's graded on completion, not whether you got the problems right or not, and so the students will complain about it, but I'll just be like, I mean, if you want your grade to increase, that's just an easy grade right there that you shouldn't really be complaining about. No matter how small a part of your grade it is, it's still going to help boost your average in this class a little bit if you just do the work.
Yeah, like the algebra class I have a B in.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't do the homework over the first like 3 days, and that like ruined my grade. I also probably didn't do it a lot of other times. But like I made 99 on the first test. It wasn't hard.
Yeah, algebra two really. I mean, I think to us it wasn't the most difficult thing ever, but then again, we like math a lot, so yeah. For some people, I could see why, because I feel like algebra two is kind of the turning point where the math becomes like just increasingly difficult to a level where some kids who, even if they didn't really like math before, they didn't really have to study in algebra one, just kind of had to do it. Because algebra one, by the way, is the same thing as 8th grade math, and in our school districts, we didn't have the opportunity to take algebra one in 8th grade. We had to take it in 9th grade in high school. And so we literally basically just had a year of algebra one in 8th grade that didn't count, and then just took it in 9th grade, so it was super easy. But then when you get to algebra two, that's kind of new material, and so I can understand why some students struggle with that.
Yeah, I don't really remember math being different up until like pre-calculus.
Yeah, pre-calculus also, in my opinion, was kind of the ramp up to stuff, because that's when you get more into theory stuff. Like,
Yeah, I had
kinda-
a higher grade in pre-calculus than algebra 3. It wasn't.
Yeah, I did too, but yeah, just theory stuff obviously being like continuity of graphs, because for a while, for a little bit in pre-cal, I also, I guess, kind of struggled with just having to think about, the graph as it approaches infinity, what's it going to do, that it's never going to reach a certain point, and, I'm just kind of a person that wants a definite answer on stuff, but you just kind of learn to accept that, and I think it's really cool to think about that. Theory questions are something that's really interesting, and I think they're good because they require you to know the material rather than just just memorize the math behind it, just doing simple arithmetic. They
Yeah,
require
I
you.
never liked just memorizing an equation for something. Like, if you want to do this, you got to add these two numbers and then divide it by that number.
Yeah, every time we
It's
do
like, I wanna
something
know
like
why.
that, Boyd doesn't memorize stuff. He just kind of like figures out how it works. And on the test, like I'm more of a memorizer, so I'll just like write down equations, stuff I have to know when the test starts or whatever. But Boyd, when he gets the question, he'll just kind of like write on an equation, like figuring out the identities for the trigs. Like all you have to know is like sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1, and then you can get the other two from that by dividing by sine squared and cosine squared respectively. And instead of memorizing, we just kind of figures it out.
I think for a really long time, I learned most of math off the test.
Yeah.
Because I remember like taking tests like in middle school and like just before middle school. It was like I would never listen in class, and then I get on the test and I'd be like, all right, how do we do this?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't do horrible. I would still get like B's and A's. It was great.
Yeah. I think we should kind of like switch to a different section, because we haven't really hit a ton of the stuff that we put on the list. This is easier than I thought it would be, just to sit here
Yeah,
and
just
talk.
talk.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that's what we do anyways. It's just behind the mic now. So the second thing we're going to talk about is activities that we participate in specifically outside of just, I guess, school, just mandated required stuff. So Boyd, you can go first.
All right. I like music, I guess. I don't know. I hate when people are like, what do you like to do? It's like, I like to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, I like music. I like electronics and coding.
I'm substance over style, man. My aesthetic is more than just, cute clothes and just dressing nicely every day.
Yeah.
I have a lot of stuff to go behind, yeah. That's good, though.
Yeah,
Gives
like,
you a lot of interests.
I like painting, too. Like, I just like so much
You like
stuff.
painting?
Yeah, I painted that picture over there, dude.
That's nice. I didn't know you like painting.
Yeah, dude, there's the one behind you over there, too.
Oh, that's nice.
Dude, you think I just bought those out of, like...
I thought your mom. Oh, your name's in the corner. So yeah, so
Yeah.
Boyd, yeah. I just realized that. I'm so stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad was like an electrician. My mom was an artist, so you get me whenever you mix those two people together.
Yeah. Wow. I don't have anything against painting, by the way. I just didn't know you were the painting type. I'm not really an artsy craft person. I just kind of like, I enjoy, I guess, creative writing on my own occasionally. If that was, like, in terms of artsy stuff, my thing. And that's kind of it, because it just gives me, like, I guess, freedom to express myself in different ways. But I don't really usually take too much time to do that. I just kind of, like, write out simple sentences and stuff, and kind of just, like, construe different stories and stuff in my head. But not all those ideas make it down to paper, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to like write something, like a nice little like fiction thing. But,
Yeah.
like even when I was growing up, like I never liked writing. I was just like, this isn't fun. Like I try to explain every single detail inside of a story like repeatedly is horrible.
Yeah.
It's my like worst weakness with writing. But like other than that, like photography and.
Yeah, Boyd's an expert photographer. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
He has a bomb Instagram page where he just posts a bunch of pictures and stuff.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's where
You
it's
look at his
at.
background and it's funny, you'd be like, whoa, you just think it's one of those like set Apple backgrounds that like professional photographers take, but nope, boy, just like I took this last week, in my backyard.
Having a good time out there.
Yeah,
Dude.
having a good time. Yeah.
What hobbies you got?
Hobbies. So I guess within the school, I run track and cross country. So I guess I'm a runner. Uh, I would say by choice, but I really like doing track work more than cross country. It just kind of gets monotonous to run, just super super long distances over and over. In my opinion, now that cross country's over and I'm kind of done with competitive running for long distance, had more fun with it on my own, just kind of running. And I think it would be kind of interesting to do that in a different location, like a city or something one day, rather than just my street, because I live out in the country, so I just kind of have to run down the same road every day, and that gets pretty boring, I guess. But yeah, I enjoy running. I think it just helps me relax my mind, helps me just think about stuff. It's a good opportunity to listen to music,
Yeah, it
which is
is.
good. Yeah,
When I ran for a little bit when it was still warm. Like I had a nice little playlist going.
yeah.
I had more fun making the playlist than actually like, listening to it while I was running.
Oh.
But it was nice. Like I just ran around my parking lot across the street for a while. It was
Yeah.
real fun. I'm not a good runner. Like
Yeah.
I die after like half a mile.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's an underrated aspect of running. I feel like it gives you time to listen to like podcasts and music and stuff, which you just sit in your room, your parent walks in, what are you doing? Go outside, do something. It gives you an opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
And nobody can complain because you're being active. So yeah, I guess that's one thing for me. Another thing I guess that I do is I'm a pretty avid gamer. I play a lot of different games. Mostly on my Switch. I just play a lot of Nintendo games. I have a lot of fun with that. I used to play on PC, but I stopped because I just realized I wasn't the type of person that wanted to put a bunch of money into a super powerful machine just to play a few set games, and so I switched to console, and I enjoy it. I'm involved in a lot of Super Smash Brothers stuff competitively. I really like that game. I really have a lot of fun playing it, and I really met a lot of awesome people through it. So hopefully I can continue to do that throughout college and stuff. So yeah, those are my activities. What about you, Boyd?
Fence.
Yeah.
That's a big one. A lot of people are like, wait, fencing like with the swords? Like, yeah, with the swords.
Yeah, with a sword.
No,
Not,
I go out and
not
build
just holding a
fences.
wooden fence up, yeah, or building fences.
When I was like researching like to get into it, that's all I could find. Like fencing in South Carolina, it's only the fences outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really fun. It's like the only way I'm really active, so it's pretty healthy. Like I feel better like whenever like I go fencing instead of just like sitting around being all sad all day and lazy. But when you go get active, you're like, okay, now I feel good. You get that like, I guess you call it runner's high, like for runners.
Yeah.
Fencer's high.
Yeah, I feel that. That's nice.
Yeah. It's not a cheap sport though.
Oh yeah.
Swords
You
not
always-
not cheap.
You always talk about your expenses with that. I guess for me, my hobbies outside of school, running obviously doesn't cost much, or except for like I'll buy a pair of shoes like once or twice a year, which they can be expensive, but when you just do it once or twice a year, it's not too bad. And I'll usually ask for those as a gift, and because at Christmas my family members are always like, we don't want to buy you a video game, we want to buy you like books or stuff to be active with. So like, all right, can you get me just like athletic clothes and shoes? So that's nice. And in terms of like I guess Smash Bros and gaming, I just kind of like pay venue fee for tournaments, which isn't bad because I want to help support the scene, and that's kind of it. I try to keep my activities kind of like low financially heavy, so I can just kind of save up money for when I get to college and stuff.
I got lucky because I have 4 brothers who are all really interesting people, and they all have their like talents and stuff, and they like hand me stuff
Oh,
down.
yeah.
Like I have like a guitar my brother gave me,
Yeah.
and like my other brother gave me a bunch of like electrical equipment, like a power supply and
Yeah.
a function generator, all that kind of cool stuff.
Yeah.
And so I got really lucky there. But fencing, I didn't have a brother who did that, so
Yeah, that's kind of your own thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is a good time to also note Boyd is the youngest of how many siblings? 4?
of
Five.
there's 6 of us total.
6 total.
I have 4 half brothers, so if you add them up, I really only have 2 brothers. But I have
Yeah.
and I have one sister who's a whole sister,
Yeah.
and we're pretty spread out. Like my oldest brother is like late 30s,
Yeah.
youngest still 30s,
Yeah.
and my sister's a little closer to me. But yeah, we're pretty well spread out in the last of the train here.
Yeah, I am just the oldest of 2 siblings. My sister's just entering high school, and I'm the senior. So I guess we're about 3-4 years apart, and yeah, it's kind of it. So I really haven't had I guess you've had siblings to kind of like pass down stuff to me and their interests and stuff. So I've kind of had to develop my own interest, and
Yeah.
some of that has come off my dad too, because like the main reason I'm into like MCU and other superhero movies is because when I was a kid, my dad would just kind of force me to watch it with him, because I'd be like, well, there's nothing else to do but read or watch this, so I'm just gonna watch this movie with my dad. And for a while, I couldn't really understand it. A lot of stuff went over my head, but as I got older, I began to appreciate that, and like just I think that's where my taste in movies came, because I think generally I might have some unpopular opinions about movies, but in general, I think my taste in movies is just pretty good, pretty tasteful, just because of my dad, because I think he appreciates good movies too, and
Yeah.
I like that.
I think I've heard somewhere like older siblings are always like, we like they made the younger sibling, like their personality is the older sibling's personality. You're just a conglomeration of your older siblings,
Yeah, I can see that. It's
which is
definitely
pretty true. I will admit, like I'm a pretty good conglomeration of all my siblings
Yeah.
put into one. But you said something about like video games. People not want to buy you video games.
Yeah.
I remember when I was little, like it took me so long to get my parents to give me a PlayStation 3. And I was so happy when I got that
Yeah,
thing.
my parents kind of tried to hold on to video games for a while, but I got in the third grade because most of my friends have been exposed to Nintendo DSs and stuff like that, and Wii's and Xboxes, PS3s, I guess at that time, or even PS2, from the time they were in like first or second grade. But I didn't get mine until third grade.
I think I was like third grade too, yeah.
Yeah, my first system was a Nintendo DSi XL, and my very first game on the system was Pokemon Platinum, and it introduced me into the world of video games, and it's been almost 10 years since then, and it's been a really wild ride, I guess, and I've played a lot of different games and had a lot of different experiences, and so yeah, that's kind of how my gaming career got started. What about you?
My brother introduced me to Little Big Planet when I was like 6 or 7, and
Yeah.
then I begged my mother and dad for a PlayStation
Yeah.
ever since he showed me that game. And once I started like playing that, like I played that probably for, oh god, I don't know how many years straight. Like that game, and then like the second Little Big Planet 2 came out, like I played that for so long. I love that game, and like it was really fun because you could make your own like levels and stuff, and I spent a lot of time on there. And then I had like a Nintendo DS. I don't remember a lot of the games I had, like Mario Kart.
I feel like most people had Nintendo DSs. It's the second best-selling console of all time behind PS2, so that's not surprising.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
And I had like some weird like Japanese. The only game that like stands out, this weird Japanese game. I've been trying to figure out what the name of it was for so long.
What's it about?
It's like about like recycling and getting like growing plants. I could never figure out how to play it when I was little, but like I just want to know what that name was so I can figure out what it was about.
I don't really know a game like that. I think if it was on the DS, I would probably know it, even because there were some really weird games that came out on DS, by the way, because the reason for that is I think because the DS was like the first console to have like a touchscreen. Obviously the dual screen's bottom was a touchscreen, and so a lot of developers tried to take advantage of that, and it led to some really weird games, some really weird creations. Some of those are abominations that should never have to be seen or played again, but some of the really interesting games, for example, I played a remake of a DS game that released on the Switch back in October called The World Ends With You, and it's made by Square Enix, and it's a very interesting game where it's an RPG, but the combat, you basically have to like swipe across enemies and do different like, I'm just gonna say finger motions and stuff on the touch screen to kill enemies and stuff, and it has a really good story, and the characters are really good, the music is really good, and the combat is good. My only complaint, I guess, is that sometimes the touch controls get a little bit too haphazard, and it's just too hard to control, and then you'll have to play difficult like boss battles, which are good and interesting, but because the controls are a little bit too loose and aren't tight enough, it can become hard to move very precisely and do exactly what you need to do to win the battle. And kind of like free roaming combat when against basic enemies, every single battle is very interesting, even I guess against low level enemies, because you can use different abilities, and you can do like different, like you can tap on enemies or slash through them, and that's something that I think a lot of RPGs lack. You just kind of, when you've been playing Pokemon for 25, 30 hours, you go back to the first route and you're like fighting like a level 5 Pidgey or something, and you just mop the floor with it with one move. But in World Ends With You, it's more interesting than that, because you actually have to swipe and attack enemies. And so it's a lot of proactive gameplay. I like it.
Yeah. If it helps think of what the game is, it was something about recharging batteries.
Is it Chibi Robo?
Is it? I don't know.
It's about this little robot. Hold on.
That might be what it is.
That might.
Because I was trying to
It's
figure it
about
out.
getting garbage and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was. Because
Is
I've
it
been
a-
trying to figure it
Wait,
out.
hold on.
for
Was
so-
there a no? Actually, I don't think there. I don't think that's it because I think the only Chibi Robo game was on the Nintendo GameCube.
Hold on, look it up on my phone real quick.
Look it up on this.
That might have been what it is.
Well, it's a GameCube game, not a DS game. So I don't know.
It was on DS,
It was.
right there.
Oh, that might be it then. I don't know.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out like the other day. I was going down this rabbit hole. I just remembered it was about like, recharging batteries or something like that.
Do you think that's actually it, or do you just not?
I think that's it because it looks like I'm trying to find gameplay, like images.
Yeah, that's interesting because Chibi Robo is one of those Nintendo characters that they've recently brought back on the 3DS, and I like his design. He's got such a cool design.
Yeah, this is it.
That's
Park
actually it.
Park and Patrol. Yeah.
Park and Patrol. Oh my gosh, Boyd! This is amazing. We just revived like something from the deepest depths of your memory, and the funny thing is that is such an obscure game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like okay, so hold on. They made a game for the 3DS, and I tried it. It wasn't amazing, but I liked it. I thought it was interesting. They made like a little amiibo, like a little figure for this, right?
Yeah.
And so I have this in my room.
Yeah.
And that's just funny.
Yeah,
That's
because
interesting.
I like every once in a while I think about it and I'm like, what is the name of that game? And I could never figure it out. And then I just remember it's about charging.
This
Yeah,
is
it's
funny.
this like Park and Patrol
Do,
one.
do you want it? Because I'm never gonna use it. Just to like look at in the morning and
You
think
can
about.
bring it over here if you want.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll take it.
I don't-
I'll cherish that thing.
I don't use it. Yeah, you can take it because I have no emotional connection to that character whatsoever. I
Yeah,
guess
but-
so.
My emotional connection to it is I don't remember like or all I
Yeah.
could do was not figure out how to play the game. I want to get that game now to figure out how to play it.
Yeah, I just remember. I guess sometimes I'll go back and play Pokemon 4th Gen 4 like ROMs like Diamond, Pearl, Platinum on my PC. Just kind of relive Gen 4 back when Pokemon was. I guess Pokemon really hasn't changed a ton, but back when they were like about 250, 300 plus Pokemon, and yeah, it was a lot simpler back then. I just remember my first Pokemon was Piplup, and I instead of raising an actual party of pocket monsters to travel and like beat the Elite Four in the gyms with, I just focused on leveling up that one Piplup, and so by the end of the game, I had a level 100 Empoleon, which is Piplup's final evolution. I would just run around and kill stuff with Surf. I would just press Surf, and I also made it my hidden machines, my HM slave, because I don't know if you ever play Pokemon games, but there'll be like a tree or something, and objects in the real world, overworld objects, and you have to like cut the tree down by teaching one of your Pokemon a move called Cut. And the problem is though, once you teach them that move, they can't forget it. It's on them forever, unless you go to like a person in a specific city, and they'll make you forget it. But other than that, it's you kind of just stick it on your Pokemon. And so I just had Surf on my Empoleon, which is an HM you need to cross water, and I would just hit Surf, hit enemies with Surf, and that's how I would win.
So did you play like games in like unconventional ways too? Cause like
Yeah, to an
like I
extent.
played Just Cause, like you know you're supposed to like do the story and stuff, but all
Yeah.
I did in that game was I just like drove around the map.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun just driving. It was basically like truck simulator for me. I would try to get a truck and put a bike in the back of it, and just transport it to different places just for fun of it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know if I had any like open world type game experiences until Minecraft, which was about 5th grade for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
we're the generation that kind of grew up with Minecraft.
yeah, which by the way, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Minecraft, I think, is the game of this generation, of the 2010 to 2020 generation, because it changed so much with gaming. Because whether you like it or not, Minecraft basically brought gaming into like an environment like YouTube.
Yeah.
Like Minecraft was the first big game, in my opinion, to start an entire like YouTube army of followers and just make games super popular on YouTube. And yeah, and it
Yeah,
also
like-
encouraged creativity because of like you could have mod packs for it and you could like build your own stuff and there was no set objective. I think that was really good.
I remember when like I first saw it on YouTube, like I was like trying to like, what was that game? It's like with blocks, whatever, trying to find it, and I found it. But then like I found out like someone like I knew like who lives here like knew. I was like, no way they know about this obscure game, Minecraft.
Nah, it's
and then
a-
we had like our own little server. It was awesome, dude.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was so cool. Yeah, I had some good memories and bad memories on Minecraft, but for the most part, I think it was good. I would much rather go up with that than Fortnite any day
Yeah.
of the week. Yeah, we're just
I
kinda
got
like-
tired of Fortnite because I was so bad at it.
Yeah, I got tired of it because I realized I didn't like playing with friends, And if
Wow.
you think about it, there's only one, like, okay, so like in Minecraft, obviously, like I said, you can play different servers, you can make mini games on different servers, just because of the limitless potential of the game. In Fortnite, all people want to do is just play Battle Royale. 100%, that's it. And sure, you can do some creative stuff with the weapons, and I know they have like a playground mode where you can build different stuff now, but for the most part, I mean,
It's a nice like
yeah,
new experience.
new experience, but the more you play it, it's just kind of like,
It gets pretty boring.
and yeah, and I think that people who stream it and stuff, they kind of get locked behind that one game, because I notice that about people like on YouTube and Twitch, they'll just be playing a game, and they'll try to switch to another game, and they won't get as many views, or their
Yeah,
follower
think
count
of
will
how many
drop.
people like you like used to watch whenever Minecraft was really popular on YouTube.
Yeah, like
Who were,
Minecraft is still popular
They
to an
just
extent.
played Minecraft.
Yeah, but like it's died down a lot, obviously.
Yeah.
And, like Minecraft was huge. There were so many subscribers. Like I'm willing to bet at least like maybe a quarter of the big names on YouTube were just Minecraft YouTubers. Like if you calculated like the amount of total subscribers of every channel.
I think it was like a filter, kind of like see whether or not how good your channel was, like if it could survive transitioning from Minecraft.
Yeah.
Because I remember there were like so many people I used to watch, and like I don't even know if they make videos anymore. They just like did Minecraft. I'm sure like Fortnite would be like that too. Like
Yeah.
there's so many like Fortnite streamers. There's no way all of them can survive whenever Fortnite's not popular.
Yeah, because I think Epic Games has done a pretty good job with keeping the popularity up, but I mean, nothing good lasts forever. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of big YouTubers, I have to check up on PewDiePie and T Series. I haven't checked that.
You do. That's interesting. They were really close. They were
Yeah,
like
last time I checked, it was like
less
2
than
days
100.
ago. Last night, I think maybe it was like 50,000 apart.
I think if it did change and T Series were to pass PewDiePie, there'd be like we would know about it immediately.
Yeah.
Like on Twitter and stuff. It would just be a big thing. Because I think right now, basically what's happening is, because for a while they got really close, then everybody subscribed to PewDiePie and their mom, and he got like a really big gap, but then they've slowly been closing the gap ever since in like late November, early December. And so as of right now, they're getting closer and closer every day, but every time
Yeah.
they get forward, he like inches forward just a little bit more.
Their difference is 35,000 right now.
Wow.
That is really close.
Yeah.
That's like a small YouTube channel's worth of subscribers right there.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. I think, by the way, they will eventually pass him.
Yeah, they definitely will. Yeah.
But, I mean, they're putting up a fight. It's literally just like the weird, I guess, just 9-year-old gamers out there fighting for their savior, PewDiePie.
Yeah, for their king.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been on there for so long. He's like the longest by like a big time.
Well, he's had so much staying power because, like I said, he's played a variety of games and done a variety of stuff with his channel. And, like, some people just get locked behind one game, like Minecrafters or Minecraft YouTubers with just Minecraft. But for him, it's just been a bunch of different games, and I think it's more about his personality than anything at this point. He just kind of can do whatever he wants. And I think that's the dream on a platform like YouTube and Twitch, to be able to play whatever game you want. And I think it really shows to the channels who are kind of late bloomers. They don't grow super quickly at first because they don't play the super popular thing like Fortnite just to get views.
Yeah.
But over time, they amount a pretty big number of subscribers in comparison to a lot of other YouTube channels, or I guess Twitch streamers, just because they play what they want and they enjoy doing it. Because you can tell when people get tired of a game, they're just doing it to like appeal to kids and just trying to make money.
Yeah. Does he still play games?
Occasionally, I think maybe he might stream on
'Cause-
Twitch, but right now he just does like meme content.
Yeah,
just
because
talks
the
about
last time
stuff.
I looked, like, it was just like some Dr. Phil meme content.
Yeah, some of it's funny, some of it's not funny, but I think that PewDiePie doesn't really care anymore. So
The guy
Yeah.
who I think of whenever I think of like a slow growing channel is Gus Johnson.
yeah,
Speaking of like kind of, he has
How
a
many subs does
podcast
he
pretty
have?
similar. He has like, I just checked 800,000.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, and he's like he does like 30-second content, so it's kind of hard for him to grow. And the algorithm's like, if you don't make over 10 minutes worth of content, then you're pretty much screwed.
Yeah.
But this is one of those YouTube channels I remember like seeing it was pretty small and then kind of grew slowly. He does some good memes.
Yeah, my guy would have to be Alpharad. He started on YouTube as Alpharad Television, or just Alpharad TV, I guess, back in like 2014, early 2015, after Smash 4 came out, and he just made like a bunch of Smash Bros videos, and his main thing was a series he called How to Play, where it was basically just he would just get clips online of him doing dumb stuff to other people with certain characters, and he would like put a music behind it and just like make memes out of it and stuff. and it was really popular. But I think he got tired of it, and I think the smartest thing he ever did was cut that series off before it became the defining factor of his channel. And then he just kind of does whatever he wants, and like you can tell if you watch any of his videos, he's just having fun with it. He records with whoever, any of his friends that he wants, and he even started kind of like another, just kind of playthrough channel, I guess, like Game Grumps.
Yeah.
Almost called Friends Without
Oh, yeah.
Benefits, and he was part of it for a while. I think he eventually left like a couple months ago to go back to work on his own channel because he said that he knew that was most important. But his friends still run the channel, and it has over 100K now, so it's doing pretty well. So
I feel like people feel like they owe their audience too much.
Yeah.
Like they have to continue the series for their audience. It's like you don't owe them shit.
yeah, you don't, because I mean it's your
Like they
channel.
watch your stuff, but they watch it for you. They don't watch it as a favor for you.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing about just being a YouTuber, just being able to have that community that supports you no matter what
Yeah, I think
content you do.
that's really a big problem in media too. Is just people want stuff to go on forever.
Yeah.
Like it's nice when something ends. Like
Yeah, like, you've ever heard that term jumping the shark?
yeah.
Yeah,
What was that show?
Okay, so there's if you guys didn't know, there's a show called Happy Days. Most of you might know about it, and there's a character called Fonzie, right? Well, I think wasn't the other guy's name Richie that was in high school?
Oh no, I never
So
seen it.
I
Never seen
think
it.
basically the main character was Fonzie though, but there was another guy, and slowly but surely, like all the main characters left for different reasons. Like I think in the story, I want to say his name was Richie, but anyways, he like in the story he went off to college, but in real life he went to go become a director, and he kind of stepped away from acting a little bit. But they ran the show for too many years, and it got to a point where they were just doing ridiculous stuff. And the term jumping the shark comes from an episode where they go to the beach and Fonzie jumps a shark, and it's so ridiculous that they ran out of ideas, so that happens. So that's just kind of the term for when shows just keep at it for a long time. And I think like comedy-based shows like The Simpsons and Family Guy, it's okay if they do that just because that they're comedy and you always have stuff to make fun of. But a plot that's driven mostly by its characters and by a story,
Yeah.
it needs to end eventually. And if you keep it going on for too long, like you're never gonna run. You might never run out of ideas, but I think you can always run out of ideas for that certain show. And there just needs a time where it needs to come to an end and just kind of provide the audience with closure, or else it will get canceled. And that's never a good thing because I
Yeah,
don't like it when
no.
shows get canceled.
It's never good when a show stops like mid plot.
Yeah, like my favorite redemption story of the last few years is, I don't know, do you know what Samurai Jack is?
I've heard of it. I think I've seen like maybe one
It's an
episode.
old show that came on Cartoon Network. Very interesting plot. It ran for about 4 seasons, but then it just randomly it got canceled and there was no closure. Well, Jenny Tartovsky, do you know who that is? I hope I'm
No.
saying his name right. He's a very good I guess director or animator, something like that. But anyways, he brought the show back for a 5th and final season on Adult Swim with about 13 episodes, and it provided closure to the show, much needed closure, and it was really good. And I supported it, and there was like a big movement to support it because people were just like, if we don't support this now, we're never going to get anything like it again. And I don't know if we will, but it was a really good way to end the show, and I'm really glad they did that.
A show that I think of that probably should have died a little sooner was Arrested Development. Then they brought it back. I don't know what like the general consensus is about. I think it's the 3rd season, but the season where they, have you ever seen Arrested Development?
No.
It's on Netflix, but
Oh, okay.
the season where they have like this weird plot where it's like this special like British girl that this guy's dating. He doesn't realize she's special.
Yeah.
That was like the point. I was like, it's not really funny anymore. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
But up until that like season, I was like, this show is great.
Yeah.
And then they did that, and then I think no one really likes the new Netflix remake or reboot of it. But
Yeah.
that it wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't great, but this one of those shows like it was funny when it happened. So can we just let it stay when it happened instead of bringing it back?
Yeah.
And what's another? What was the other one that Netflix like rebooted that wasn't? Was there another one?
I don't know. They're doing stuff like that all the time, though. Fuller House.
Oh yeah, that was the one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so
Not saying any of those shows like necessarily like Fuller House are bad by any means. I haven't seen it, but like sometimes you just gotta. There's a time and a place for everything to end, and it's better to just come up with new shows and new ideas. I think with new characters than rehash the same old stuff over and over again.
yeah, and it's more creative.
Yeah.
The Office, like, it went on for 9 years, which is really long. But I like the last 2 seasons, it was starting to push the limit on how far it should go. I don't know if it went too far or not, because I really like The Office, so I'm kind of biased
Yeah.
on it.
I never watched The Office, by the way.
Uh,
I should, but I never have.
yeah, I spent like, I don't know, probably like 3 weeks just watching it, doing nothing else at the end of summer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, like any YouTube channels that should just quit at this point. I'm gonna call some names out.
I don't know. I feel like it's different with YouTubers. By the way, you said you watched Jarvis Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Did you see the video he made about how he quit his job at Patreon to become a full-time YouTuber?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
He did. He quit his job, which
Dang.
I wasn't surprised. I saw it coming because he grew very quickly. He has a lot of
Yeah.
subs right now. His content is very entertaining. But yeah, not necessarily. I think as long as they keep their same personality, they can always come up with an idea to become innovative. Because in my opinion, it's not like you're watching a character in a show. You're watching a personality maybe interacting as like characters in a game, and since they're the creator, just like directors of certain movies, like you never say, this director should stop making movies. They keep on because they have so many good ideas. I think it's kind of the same way with YouTubers because they're the creators. We just get to interact with them more because they're the ones like being vocal and in the videos. Yeah.
That's something I've always wondered about, like, because when I was younger, like, YouTube was, like, less than 10 years old. So it was kind of, like, a weird question of, like, what do you do whenever your job is YouTube? Do you retire at some point? Do you move on?
Yeah, I think the question's kind of been answered to people by people like Rhett and Link, because I think they're fairly old now, and they're still, they're still at it. So, I don't know. I think it just depends on what you do, and I think a lot of it's just people just move on, find other jobs. Like, for example, this guy I used to watch named Jay Witz. He made really good Pokemon content, and he changed his channel to more of a Nintendo theme in 1 year, but then I think he went to work for Twitch, and he's just been spending he still makes videos occasionally, but he spends most of his time just at Twitch now. So I feel like a lot of people, as they get older, become more involved in the business side of things and just kind of like put their channels behind them to focus more on the corporate aspect of things.
Yeah, I've also noticed like few like big channels, but it's not their livelihood. They just like happen to get lucky and big. There's this YouTube channel like AVE. It's like Arduino versus Evil. It's really funny. This guy just like shooting the shit in his garage, having a good time. Yeah. And like he's always like, this isn't my job. I have an actual job that gives me actual money. Yeah. Instead of YouTube, but he just has a good time. Like I don't know how many subscribers he has. He's just a crazy guy. Yeah. But yeah. I don't know. Maybe like at some point you're just like, I'm too old for this, and you give up.
Yeah, I feel that.
Or you just die on YouTube. Yeah. get those views.
Yeah.
Hashtag on my deathbed.
Yeah. Some people would vlog that.
Jake Paul?
Yeah, he would vlog that. All right. So now I think we should move on. We're about like 48 minutes in. Wow, it's almost in an hour.
That was surprisingly easy.
Yeah, time flies. All right, so we're gonna talk about just a couple other things before we end. I think the last thing on the list we have is just media in general, music, books that we're talking about. I think we already covered, and other podcasts. So I'm gonna go first with some music. So I have Apple Music, and you can argue whether or not it is better than Spotify Premium or Pandora, whatever the Pandora.
It's not better than Pandora. Yeah, let's be honest. Who uses Pandora?
Yeah, who uses Pandora, right? Thunder Radio is pretty nice, but who uses Pandora? But anyways, yeah. So I just use Apple Music, and they curate playlists for me. I just kind of look. I usually check out the rock playlist, the pop or hip hop workout. I like to listen to all types of music except for country. Now there are some old country songs.
There's some good country. Yeah, you ever listen to the Avett Brothers? No, I love the Avett Brothers.
Yeah, there's some bops, but like in terms of rock, I just listen to some bands. I've been listening to the Goo Dolls a lot lately. This other band called The Killers.
They're good.
Yeah.
In case anybody hasn't heard of them.
Yeah, they're pretty good, and I don't know. I just like them. I just kind of like find bands out that way. I like listen to a playlist and like, I like these songs, and just check out the bands who wrote the songs and just kind of explore their other work and see how much I like it. And normally I do. There's some good bands out there that I feel like don't get the recognition that they deserve because rock isn't super mainstream right now. It's more kind of like pop and rap.
Yeah. I listen to a lot of music, but like my favorite band is the Black Keys, and like you, I don't really like country, but I do like the extreme of country, which is bluegrass. Yes. So bluegrass and like the Avett Brothers. Avett Brothers are definitely in my top 10 favorite bands, but I don't really like the like Yeehaw.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, the thing about country is now, I think my English teacher summed it up really well when he told me one time, old country was really good. Like, there's some
Yeah.
old country songs that are genuinely good songs, but now it's like this weird blend of country and pop just to fit the needs of the mainstream or the wants of the mainstream,
Yeah.
and it's just not good quality stuff anymore, in my opinion. And so I don't know if there will ever be any country band, bluegrass or not, that will be in my top 10 list of bands. But yeah, there's some songs I enjoy, but for the most part, I'll listen to almost anything. And, I'll listen to songs on the radio, Magic 98.9 and 101.2, I think it is, the rock station in the upstate. I listen to those a lot because they don't replay the same songs over and over like a lot of pop stations do, because
Yeah,
they
I've
just play
heard
like modern, like what the
Thank
new
You
stuff
Next
is.
way too many times.
Yeah.
Whatever the name of that song is.
Yeah.
Is that the name of it? I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I don't-
by
I don't
Ariana
particularly-
Grande.
Yeah.
And the problem is, it'll be like good songs, but they'll ruin them because they play it
Yeah.
too much. Like,
At first, I like that song. I was like, oh, this is
Yeah.
nice. But now, every time someone says thank you, I'm like, next. And
Yeah.
it can't stand it. It's horrible. I don't particularly like pop that much. I don't think it's horrible by nature. Like, it's not inherently evil or bad or whatever.
yes.
But I don't just like it.
I like
It's-
alternative pop a little bit more because I feel like I actually like a lot of alternative music, like alternative rock, alternative pop.
Yeah.
Because that's just kind of like artists being more creative, doing their own thing than just fitting the mainstream.
I'm a little hipster in my musical taste because I do like indie
Yeah.
bands a little more than mainstream. But what other kind of? Oh, I use Apple Music right now, but I have Spotify. I'm still on the free trial for Apple Music. I like it. Only problem is I don't have a Mac, so I can't really listen to it on my computer. So I might just stay with Spotify.
Apple Music, you can download the iTunes app. There's an iTunes app.
Oh,
for
yeah, that's
PCs.
true.
You can do that. Yeah, I have it
Yeah,
on
but
my
like,
computer.
I
Is
can't
an
put it on
Mac.
my Chromecast too.
You
So
can't
it's
do
just easier to use Spotify right now.
I guess you're right. Yeah.
I also already use it, and my mom and sister, we have family plan. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, I might get Spotify because I've heard that Spotify has multiple curates more playlists for you. But I got some iTunes gift cards for Christmas that I just kind of need to run through. So
So
yeah,
let's go through those real quick.
yeah, I'm just gonna go through those.
Yeah, I don't have any playlist on Apple. A good weird band or guy I've listened to recently is Austin Weber. He's got some like cool music. Like playlist wise, I've made a few playlists, and I always go too far because like I make like album artwork for my playlist. Like I made a running playlist. I made album artwork for that too. Those are fun.
Yeah.
But other than that, just listen to a lot of music. I grew up. My family's pretty musically, I guess, talented. Yeah.
I hate to admit it, but my family is like low key kind of like falls into the mainstream music watching. Okay, except for my dad. My dad listens to like orchestral music for movies and stuff, which I appreciate.
I
think that's
respect
nice.
that.
Yeah, I respect that. My sister listens to mainstream pop because she's a budding teenager, and my mom just likes listening to country and gospel. Which gospel, I mean, yeah, some gospel's good, I guess, but
African
country.
American gospel is freaking amazing.
That's amazing.
You can
yes.
feel the soul coming
You
through.
can, yeah. You can feel the passions on those songs, yeah. But yeah, and then country, which obviously I don't really like. So I don't necessarily share, I guess, the same love for music the rest of my family does. But I've kind of had to develop my own taste because for a while I just listened to random dubstep, and I realized I still like listening to that to play video games with because I just like like having a nice beat to like play behind or something.
Yeah, something you just kind of tune out.
Yeah,
but it's
just
still
like
there.
mindlessly. But one of my friends, Cade, told me something that I will never forget about music. He said, "Do you listen to music or do you hear music?" Because he said, "I meet people all the time who hear music, and listening to music is one of the best things that you can do. Just think about the lyrics of the song. I feel like too many people just kind of like mindlessly go through songs in their playlist without a second thought. But if you just sit back and listen to the lyrics, yeah, genuinely, because a lot of mainstream songs, you listen to the lyrics, you're kind of like, okay, whatever. But some songs, like they're songs with some deep messages that mean a lot, and
Yeah.
I think that's really powerful.
And it's real fun to whenever you have like an hour just sit down and listen to an album.
Yes.
Like the problem with me though, like I know I can admit I'm bad at like just hearing it, not listening to the lyrics.
Yes.
But like after I listen to it for the 50th time, like okay, now let me hear the lyrics of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really listen to like the beat and the music before I listen to the lyrics, and then once I listen to the lyrics, like you can find some cool things in there. And then even like when I'm trying to like learn a song, I learn a lot like about that song whenever I'm trying to learn. Like, what did he mean when he said this?
Yeah.
And but yeah, other than that, I like the alternative rock and stuff like that, and indie stuff, some weird
Yeah.
stuff. And 1812 Overturn. I don't know if you ever heard that, but that was like the best classical music song ever. The
Oh.
one with the cannons. I don't know if you ever heard it. It's
Yeah.
great. I don't know why. It's like the one like classical song. I'm like, yeah, that's good. But other media that like books. I read a lot of nonfiction.
I read a lot of. I like nonfiction, but I like fiction a little bit more because I like getting interested in the stories of different characters because authors can be a little bit more creative. I'm reading a book right now called The Adventures of Cavalier and Clay. It's by Michael. I hope I'm saying this right. Chabon, Chabon. It's really good. It's about these two guys in New York City making comic books, and it's a really good book. You should check it out. But yeah, any books you're reading right now in particular?
I'm reading in air quotes a book right now.
Reading being, yeah, you just look
I
at
put it down like a few months ago. Like I started it, read a chapter, was like, oh, this is really good, and then I put it down.
Oh, yeah.
But
The
it's
dreaded reader's block.
Sapiens. Hold on, let me go get it real quick. See what it's about. It's
And
Sapiens.
Boyd strains himself to pick up the book from the
Yeah,
table
dude.
10 feet away.
Dude, you get that 7-foot wingspan over
Yeah,
here.
that's when the wingspan comes in handy.
Yeah, I got Sapiens: A Brief History of Humankind by. Oh, I'm gonna butcher that name. Yuval Noah Harari. Yep, that's the thing. It's about like who we are and where we're from. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And my like favorite book is Guns, Germs, and Steel, which is another nonfiction book.
Mhm.
Similar subject about humans. It's really about like the different cultures and where they started and how that affected them. Like why the Aboriginals didn't colonize America,
Mhm.
but the Europeans did, and why the Eurasian continent was really good,
Yeah.
like successful wise. But it's really cool. Some people think it's a little racist. I don't see how you could ever think that's racist, because he's like, no, it's not who we like the genetics. It's where you are when you start.
Yeah.
It's dumb. Other than that, I got a lot of books that I haven't read.
Yeah, me too. All right. So we're almost like out of time because this is almost an hour long. And I don't want to go over an hour. So to close this out, we have one more book let's talk about, and that specific podcast that we listen to.
Let me go first.
Yeah, Boyd, you have a lot more than I do.
I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Well,
I've been
yeah.
listening to podcasts for a
I think
really
that's why
long time.
Boyd was kind of like, even though I brought this up, he was kind of like the driving factor behind this
Yeah.
project. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, podcasts. I love those.
Yeah.
I listen to Hello Internet, Cortex. I like CGP Grey. I don't know if you've ever seen his YouTube channel.
No.
The Unmade podcast, another like relative to him, kind of, because it's his friend who made that. And then a podcast not involving CGP Grey in any way. I listen to Hardcore History by Dan Carlin. It's just really, he goes so in depth. They're like 5-hour long episodes.
Hmm.
He posts them like once a year, but they're really good.
Mhm.
Like the most recent one, the recent two, are about Imperial Japan
Mhm.
and how all that happened is really cool.
Yeah.
And you said, what was his name? Jarvis?
Johnson.
Yeah, Jarvis Johnson. He has a good podcast. I don't think he's posted anything in a while. Sad Boys. I've listened to that. Are there any other ones to listen to? Oh, the Gus and Eddie podcast.
Oh.
With Gus Johnson. That's a good one.
Mhm.
I can't think of any others right now. I'm sure I'll think of some later and be like, why did I say that? What about you?
Yeah. For me, it's basically just I listen to this podcast. These two guys from Seattle, called Tasteful Profanity. I really like it. They have a good show. And I guess I'm off and on with different gaming podcasts. Like I've listened to NBC on IGN. I've listened to a couple others I can't really think of right now. I'm not like a huge podcast guy, but I like podcasts a lot when I do listen to them. And so yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to do this, because I was like, I think podcasting is a really cool idea, because it's not like you have to have like a super huge production budget to run a
Yeah.
podcast. You just kind of have to have a reliable mic, or in our case, 2 reliable headsets and like a laptop or a phone to record it on and upload somewhere. And yeah, like it's not really like a struggle like editing a video to run a podcast. You just kind of talk freely about whatever you want to do. And yeah, so that's really like this.
Yeah, and I really like podcasts because it's not like YouTube where it's like all on one platform.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're like slave to the algorithm. Like I'm sure that has some of the stuff to do with it, like who gets
Yeah.
to see it and stuff. But like you're not trying to appease the YouTube overlords and not get demonetized. Say whatever you want, you know?
I feel you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So on that note, I think we're gonna end the show today for our first episode. I hope this goes out somewhere. I hope the audio is good.
Yeah.
So
like I gotta listen to his hour
yeah,
of just
I hope
static.
this just isn't lost in the interwebs forever. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it if this does go up somewhere eventually. And I hope you tune in so for the hopeful continuation of this project in the future. But as of right now, this has been the Billy and Boyd podcast, episode 1. And this is me, Billy, signing off.
This is Boyd also signing off, I guess, yeah.
All right, yeah. Peace out, you guys. Hope you
See ya.
enjoyed. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Cool. Just a little clap at the end.